The average American man will spend somewhere between $150,000 and $300,000 on clothing over the course of his adult life. Most of that money will be spent on the basis of assumptions that no one ever verified. That the expensive suit is better constructed than the mid-priced one, that the designer shoe is built to last, that the brand with the longest history still makes the product it built that history on. Most of those assumptions are wrong, and the industry that benefits from them has no interest in correcting them. This video is about the specific, recurring, measurable mistakes that cost American men the most money over time. Not taste mistakes, not style mistakes. Construction mistakes, material mistakes, purchasing logic mistakes, the kind that compound because a man who does not understand why his $800 suit delaminated in year 2 will buy another $800 suit and make the same mistake again. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly where the money is going, why it keeps going there, and what to do instead. Not to spend less, to spend better. The single most expensive recurring mistake in American men's wardrobes is paying canvas prices for fused construction and never knowing the difference. Here is the background. A suit jacket requires internal structure to hold its shape, support the chest and allow the lapels to roll correctly. There are 2 ways to build that structure. Canvas construction places a floating interlining, traditionally horsehair and wool, between the outer fabric and the lining. It is stitched, not bonded. It moves with the garment. Over time, it molds to the wearer's body. Full canvas is the construction method of every serious tailoring house that has ever produced a suit worth discussing. Half canvas applies the floating interlining to the chest and lapel only, with fusing below. It is a legitimate intermediate construction at an intermediate price. Fused construction bonds a synthetic interlining directly to the outer fabric using heat-activated adhesive. It is fast, cheap, and produces a jacket that looks structured in the store and for the first year or 2 of wear. Then the adhesive begins to fail. Dry cleaning accelerates this, heat accelerates this. The technical result is delamination, the outer fabric separating from the interlining in irregular patches, creating visible bubbling across the chest and lapels. Once a fused jacket delaminates, the jacket is finished. There is no repair. The customer buys another suit. This is the business model, not as conspiracy, but as economics. A fused suit has a predictable lifespan. The customer who does not understand construction replaces it on schedule without ever identifying the cause. The mistake is paying fused prices, which is to say mid to high prices for a fused product when canvas is available at the same or lower cost if the man knows where to look. A fused suit at Nordstrom from a recognizable brand retails at $800 to $1,400. A half-canvas suit from Samuelson, a Canadian tailoring manufacturer, producing since 1923 and available through independent retailers and online, starts at approximately $900 to $1,200. A half-canvas suit from J Press, one of the few remaining American clothiers with a genuine tailoring heritage, retails at $700 to $1,100 in their York Street line, which uses half-canvas construction in fabrics sourced from established Italian mills. Same price tier, fused versus canvas. The fused suit delaminates, the canvas suit molds to the body and lasts until the fabric wears out, which, in a quality wool, is a decade or more of regular rotation. The test takes 30 seconds. Roll the lapel between your fingers. Canvas has a natural, soft curve. Fused lapel has a slight resistance and wants to lay flat. Pinch the chest fabric away from the lining. On a fused jacket, the 2 layers move as one rigid unit. On a canvas jacket, the outer fabric has slight independent movement. If the salesperson cannot tell you whether the jacket is fused or canvassed, that answer is itself the information you need. Paying $1,200 for a suit that will delaminate in 3 years is not a luxury purchase. It is a rental with no disclosure. The construction is not visible from across the room. The bill for ignoring it arrives on schedule. Mistake 2. Replacing shoes instead of resoling them. American men replace their dress shoes at a rate that makes no economic sense. Not because the upper leather has failed, not because the last no longer fits, but because the sole has worn through and no one told them the sole was the replaceable part. A Goodyear welted shoe can be resoled. This is not a niche service. It is the entire value proposition of welted construction, and it has been the standard construction method for quality footwear for over a century. The welt, a strip of leather stitched around the perimeter of the shoe connecting the upper to the outsole, creates a mechanical bond that can be broken and rebuilt. A cobbler cuts the stitching, removes the old sole, stitches a new one to the existing welt, and returns a shoe that is structurally renewed. The upper leather, the part that develops patina, that conforms to the foot that represents the majority of the shoe's material value, remains intact. A cemented shoe cannot be resoled in any practical sense. The adhesive bond holds the upper to the sole as a single unit. When the sole wears through or the adhesive fails, the shoe is finished. There is no economical repair. The customer buys another pair. The mistake American men make is not understanding this distinction before purchasing and therefore buying cemented shoes at prices that imply resolable construction. Cole Haan sells dress shoes in the $200 to $400 range. The construction is cemented. The leather is typically corrected grain or top grain. The shoe will last 3 to 5 years of regular wear before replacement. Allen Edmonds sells Goodyear welted dress shoes in the $350 to $500 range. The construction is welted. The leather is full grain. The shoe can be resold through Allen Edmonds' own recrafting program for approximately $175 to $225, with a new welt, new outsole, and restored to near original condition. A man who buys Allen Edmonds Park Avenues at $395 and recrafts them twice over 15 years has spent approximately $795 for 15 years of dress shoes. A man who buys Cole Haan Oxfords at $280 and replaces them every 4 years has spent $1,120 for the same period and worn a structurally inferior shoe throughout. The cheaper shoe costs more. Not at the point of purchase, over the life of the foot. The test is simple. Turn the shoe over before you buy it. Look at the edge where the upper meets the sole. If there is a visible stitch line running around the perimeter, a welt, the shoe can be resoled. If the edge is smooth and clean with no stitching, the shoe is cemented and the clock is already running. The sole wears out, the upper does not have to. The distinction between those two facts is worth understanding before the purchase, not after. Mistake 3. Trusting Italian leather and premium cotton as specifications. These phrases appear on hang tags, product pages, and in store signage across American retail at every price point. They are not specifications, they are adjectives, and the man who buys on the basis of them is buying on the basis of nothing. Italian leather tells you where the hide was processed. It tells you nothing about the grade of the leather, whether it is full grain, top grain, corrected grain, split leather, or bonded leather. A full grain Italian leather shoe and a corrected grain Italian leather shoe are genuinely different products with different breathability, different patina development, different surface durability, and different long-term wear characteristics. Both can be labelled Italian leather. The label does not distinguish them. Premium cotton is not a fibre classification. The American textile industry uses specific, verifiable classifications. Supima cotton, which is extra-long staple cotton grown domestically under licensed production standards. Pima cotton, the broader category of extra-long staple cotton including Peruvian production, and standard upland cotton, which accounts for the vast majority of American cotton production, and most of what appears in clothing at every price point. Premium cotton can mean any of these. It most commonly means standard cotton with a marketing phrase attached. The mistake is treating language as specification. Language is chosen by the marketing department. Specification is chosen by the sourcing department. They are different functions with different objectives, and the marketing department's objective is not to give the customer accurate purchasing information. It is to give the customer a feeling that supports the purchase. Read the label. The legal fiber content label in the United States must specify the actual fiber content by percentage and by type. 100% Supima cotton is a specification. Premium luxury cotton is a description of a feeling. If the hang tag says premium but the fiber label does not specify the grade, assume the grade is standard and price accordingly. The same logic applies to leather. Ask specifically, is this full grain, top grain, or corrected grain? In a store that sells quality footwear, the salesperson will know immediately. In a store that sells brand-positioned footwear, the salesperson will redirect to the brand's heritage, the Italian origin, the craftsmanship narrative. The redirect is the answer. Language costs nothing to print. Fiber content and leather grade cost the brand money to produce. The gap between the language on the hang tag and the specification on the care label is frequently the most honest measure of how much of the price went into the garment. What these mistakes share, how to stop making them. The 3 mistakes covered so far, buying fused at canvas prices, replacing instead of risoling, and trusting adjectives as specifications, share a common mechanism. They all depend on the customer not knowing what to look for. The moment the customer knows, the mistakes become avoidable. The following 4 tests make them avoidable. The construction test for suits. Before purchasing any jacket or suit above $500, perform the lapel roll test and the chest pinch test described earlier. If you cannot identify the construction yourself, ask directly. Is this jacket fused, half canvas, or full canvas? A retailer selling canvas will answer immediately and confidently. A retailer selling fused will hesitate, redirect, or express uncertainty. That uncertainty tells you what you are holding. At any price above $800, full canvas or half canvas should be the minimum expectation. Fused construction at $800 or above is a construction premium being charged without the construction being delivered. Identify it before purchase or pay for it afterward through delamination. The sole construction test. Turn every shoe over before purchasing. Look at the perimeter edge. A Goodyear welted shoe has a visible stitch line running around the welt. A Blake stitched shoe has stitching visible on the insole interior when you look inside. A cemented shoe has a smooth, unbroken edge with no stitching. Goodyear welt, risolable multi-decade lifespan with proper maintenance. Blake stitch, risolable by a qualified cobbler, good lifespan. Cemented, non-risolable 3 to 5 year functional lifespan. Price accordingly. At $300 and above, cemented construction is a cost shortcut priced as craftsmanship. The fiber label test. Read the care and content label on every garment before purchase. Look for specific fiber designations: Supima, Pima, extra long staple, Sea Island cotton, Super 100s or Super 120s wool, 100% cashmere versus blended cashmere. Vague language, premium, luxury, superior, fine, is marketing, not specification. If the label does not name the fiber grade specifically, assume the grade is standard regardless of the price. For a direct test on fabric weight and quality, hold the fabric up to light. A tightly woven, heavy fabric blocks light evenly. A loosely woven or thin fabric shows light through the weave irregularly. Weight alone is not quality, but fabric that is visibly thin for its stated fiber content is telling you something about where the cost savings were made. The price per wear test. Before any significant clothing purchase, calculate the realistic cost per wearing over an honest lifespan. A $395 Goodyear welted shoe worn 3 times a week for 15 years with 2 recrafting cycles at $200 each costs approximately 8 cents per wearing. A $280 cemented shoe, replaced every 4 years over the same 15-year period, costs approximately 40 cents per wearing. The cheaper shoe is 5 times more expensive in use. Apply this calculation to suits, knitwear, denim and outerwear. A $650 Barber waxed cotton jacket, resoled and re-waxed across 20 years of use, costs less per wearing than a $350 fashion jacket replaced every 3 seasons. A $175 John Smedley Sea Island cotton polo, worn 100 times, costs $1.75 per wearing. A $395 branded polo, worn 30 times before. Collar, collapse, costs $13.17 per wearing. The expensive polo is 7 times more expensive in use. The price tag is a moment in time. The price per wear is the truth. If you want to know what your clothes are actually worth before you spend the money, subscribe. This channel follows the construction, not the campaign. Mistake 4. Buying brand history from a brand that sold it. Brooks Brothers was founded in 1818. It is the oldest men's clothing retailer in the United States. Its Oxford cloth button-down shirt, developed in the late 19th century, allegedly inspired by the collar-buttoning practice of English polo players, is one of the most significant garments in American menswear history. It established a template that has been copied by every casual dress shirt manufacturer operating since. Brooks Brothers filed for bankruptcy in 2020. It was acquired by Authentic Brands Group, a licensing conglomerate that also owns Barney's New York, Juicy Couture, Volcom, Nautica, and approximately 40 other brand names. Authentic Brands Group's business model is specific and well documented. Acquire heritage brand names, license those names to third-party manufacturers, collect royalties on the resulting products, and maintain the brand's retail presence and marketing positioning. The Oxford cloth button-down shirt sold under the Brooks Brothers name today is not made to the same standard as the Oxford cloth button-down shirt that built Brooks Brothers' reputation. The fabric sourcing, the construction specifications, and the quality control are now determined by licensing arrangements with manufacturing partners whose primary obligation is margin, not heritage. This is not a secret, it is a publicly documented business transition. The customer who does not know about it pays Brooks Brothers prices for a product built to Authentic Brands Group licensing standards. A Brooks Brothers Oxford cloth button-down retails at $120 to $180. The same category, Oxford cloth button-down in an American or English mill fabric made to measure, is available from proper cloth at $110 to $140 in verified mill fabrics including Thomas Mason and Alumo. The Brooks Brothers shirt carries the heritage of a 200-year-old institution. The shirt itself carries the construction of a 2020 licensing agreement. The mistake is buying the history when the history has been sold. Authentic Brands Group is not unique. Private equity ownership, licensing arrangements, and conglomerate acquisition have altered the production standards of Hickey Freeman, Hart Schaffner and Marks, Pendleton's mainline products, and multiple other American heritage brands. The name remains. The manufacturing philosophy that built the name frequently does not. Before purchasing from any heritage American brand, research its current ownership. If it is owned by a licensing conglomerate or private equity, research what changed in production after acquisition. The information is available. The customer who finds it buys differently. The brand's history is on the wall. The garment's history is in the seam. Read the seam. Mistake 5. Treating the outlet as a discount on the same product. American men buy from outlet stores under a specific assumption that the product in the outlet is the same product sold in the flagship store at a reduced price. This assumption is incorrect in the majority of cases, and the gap between the assumption and the reality has widened significantly over the past 2 decades. Outlet-specific product, merchandise manufactured specifically for outlet retail rather than transferred from mainline inventory, now accounts for the majority of what most major brands sell through their outlet channels. This is not a rumour. It is an acknowledged retail practice. The outlet product is made to lower specifications than the mainline product, using less expensive fabrics, simplified construction, and reduced quality control, and is manufactured specifically to hit a price point that allows the brand to present an apparent discount while maintaining margin. A Polo Ralph Lauren Oxford shirt in a flagship store uses a specific fabric specification. The same apparent product in a Ralph Lauren factory store uses a different, lower specification fabric, typically a lighter weight, lower thread count, and less expensive cotton construction, priced to appear as a discount on the mainline product, while actually being a separate, lesser product at a different price point. The visual difference between mainline and outlet-specific product is often minimal at the point of purchase. The difference in performance after 10 washings is frequently significant. The outlet shirt pills faster, the collar loses structure sooner, the fabric thins at friction points earlier. The mistake is not shopping at outlets. The mistake is assuming that outlet pricing reflects a discount on mainline quality rather than a price point built for a purpose-made lesser product. The test. Compare the fabric weight, the fiber content label, and the construction details between a mainline product and the outlet version. If the care labels differ, different fabric percentages, different thread counts where disclosed, different country of origin, then the products are not the same. The outlet price is not a discount, it is the correct price for a different product. The outlet sign says savings, the care label says specifications. Read the specifications. Conclusion. Every mistake in this video shares a single root cause. The customer trusted a signal that was not connected to the product. He trusted the price. He trusted the brand name. He trusted the heritage narrative. He trusted the outlet's implied discount. He trusted the adjective on the hang tag. None of those signals are reliable indicators of what was actually made. This is not accidental. The fashion industry operates on the systematic management of signals, constructing environments, language, brand associations, and retail experiences that create reliable purchasing behavior without requiring the customer to evaluate the product itself. The store is designed to produce trust before the product is examined. The price is designed to imply quality before the quality is verified. The heritage narrative is designed to create loyalty to a name that may no longer represent what earned that loyalty. The man who understands this is not cynical about clothing, he is precise about it. He knows that a $1,200 jacket can be better or worse than a $600 jacket, depending entirely on the construction, and that the construction is verifiable in 30 seconds if he knows where to look. He knows that a $350 shoe can outlast a $700 shoe by a decade if the sole construction differs. He knows that the fiber label tells him more than the brand name and that the care label tells him more than the hang tag. These are not difficult things to know. They are things the industry does not teach because informed customers make different decisions. An informed customer who finds a delaminating fused jacket does not buy it at $1,200. He finds the half-canvas alternative at $900 and buys it instead. He spends less and gets more. The industry loses the premium, the customer keeps it. The expensive mistakes men keep making are not caused by spending too much money. They are caused by spending money without information. Information is not expensive, the absence of it is. The label tells you what the brand wants you to believe. The construction tells you what they actually built. Learn to read the construction and the expensive mistakes stop repeating themselves. Price talks loud. Construction tells the truth. Start listening to the right one.